Okay, so we're ready for part 2 DJ website tips from myself, Alan, here at ScottishDJ.com, and hopefully you've seen part 1. If not, I would advise you go back and see part 1 first, because we kind of do these things in order. So here's part 2. Enjoy. I don't have any advertising on my site, but some websites do. And if you do, here's a good rule of thumb. Do not have any more than 25% of your total content be advertising. Because, well, quite frankly, if in every hour of TV, 50 minutes of it was ads, you wouldn't stick around on that channel too long. And it's the same with your website. So if you do have any advertising, keep it small, keep it out of the way, and keep it to within 25% of the total content. When you do your website, have someone look it over. Have someone who isn't you go through it as if they were a customer, navigate through it, and then come back and tell you honestly, not, oh, it looks great, yeah, oh, fabulous, go for it. But come back and say, hey, you know what, I had a little bit of trouble getting from here to here, whatever. Have someone who isn't you look over it, because we can't see the wood for the trees, and we get so excited about, oh, my website looks great, and you forget that it has to be usable by someone who doesn't know who you are. You know everything about yourself. Someone else might not. In fact, someone else pretty much doesn't know anything about you, and so the only way that they can find that out is through your website. So make it easy to navigate, and for that reason have someone look over it and really give you some real tips and real feedback on what it is. And don't be afraid. It's not personal. If someone says your website's not great, if someone says, hey, you could improve this, it's not personal. You have to listen to them. You have to be prepared to hear it. I mentioned about busy backgrounds. One of the biggest problems I see with bad websites is contrasting colors, like red text on a blue background. It has to be easy to read. Now, I mean, mine, again, I'm not saying mine's the best in the world, but I have, these are my corporate colors, kind of teal and kind of purple and white are my, so you can see from my logo there, there's purple above the A, and there's the little teal stripe. So that's kind of my corporate color. So I've tried to keep my corporate identity the same all the way through. So every page is very similar. It's a very plain blue background with white copy on it. That then makes it easier to read. If you have reversed copies, that's white on black, it's hard to read. Red on blue is hard to read. So ideally you want to make it nice and easy to read. There's a couple of big red flags that scream amateur, and one of these is having any bulk amount of copy which is in all capital letters. Nothing says I'm an amateur more than all capital letters. It's like you're screaming, I'm shouting at you, look at all my capital letters. So don't do blocks of all capital letters. If you need to have something for emphasis, that's what italics is for, that's what bold is for, that's what the occasional word in capitals is for. If you have something that is important and it's an entire paragraph, then maybe put it in a different font, but don't put it in all capital letters, because that just looks incredibly amateurish. Also, on the same token, if you're going to have an exclamation point, Jimmy is the best DJ in town, exclamation point. One exclamation point will do, really. Jimmy is the best DJ in town, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. That just says, I don't know what the heck I'm doing here. So one is enough, and ration them. Imagine every exclamation point was costing you $10. You would use considerably fewer of them. You have to think like that, because there's no need to have huge amounts of exclamation points. And also, and this is a big one for me, make sure you run a spell checker on it. Make sure you have someone else proofread it to make sure that there's the there and there, THEIR, THERE, are correctly as they should be. Again, nothing says amateur, I don't know what I'm doing, than a website which has numerous spelling errors on it. I mean, one or two it's not great, but one or two is not going to kill you. If you've got a website that's full of spelling errors, I can guarantee you that you'll lose business from it, because people will assume if this person is that bad at spelling, and if this person has taken that little time to make sure that this is right, then maybe the details for my wedding are going to be wrong as well. It's kind of like, I don't know if you ever heard the story of Van Halen and the brown M&Ms. Van Halen for years used to have on their tour rider a thing that said, we want M&Ms, but we want all the brown ones taken out. And so they would get to a gig, and if there was brown M&Ms in their big bowl of M&Ms, they would throw a fit and threaten to cancel, and everyone just thought they were being rock stars and being prima donnas. But they explained that the reason behind it is that this was written in their rider in small print, and if someone hadn't taken the time to read this, then what else had they forgotten? And that's kind of the same thing with the website. If your website's full of spelling errors, who knows what else you've not done, or who knows what else you won't do on their big day? Who knows what else you'll forget? So if you're not good at spelling, and Lord knows some of you aren't, have a spell checker put on it first off if you're doing it yourself. But if you're having another company doing it, they should probably take care of all of that for you. So there's a couple of pretty obvious tips that I'm going to pass on. The first of these is, don't steal content from somebody else's website. It's not cool, and in some cases, you can get in some legal trouble. So by all means, if you want to get inspired by somebody else's website, but don't just steal their copy and basically redo their website for your own benefit. That's definitely not cool. If you're going to use pictures and they're not stock photography, you can use stock photography that you pay for pretty much as you want. But if you're going to use pictures that didn't come from like a free site, or they weren't part of stock photography and they came from an actual photographer's website, generally speaking, you probably are going to have to get permission to use that, and you're definitely going to want to give them a picture credit, because that way you stay in their good books, and also you help them promote their business. And like anything else, one of the best ways to build your business is to help other people build their business. If you can do that, then there's a very good chance that people will return the favor and they'll help you build your business. So if you're going to use photography from a photographer that you work with at a wedding, make sure that you get their permission for it, and give them a link to their website and a picture credit as well. It's just, it's fair, and it's the best way to do it. If you're going to have a page of anything to do with your equipment, here's what I would suggest. Forget giving a full rundown of every piece of kit you've got, every speaker you've got, the magnificent lighting that you've got, all the things which we as DJs want to see. Brides and grooms don't care. They just don't. However much you might think they do, trust me, they don't care what your equipment is. They care that it's in good condition, they care that it's good quality equipment, they care that it's not going to break down on their big day, but they don't care about the types. They don't care about Chauvet over Martin or Martin over American DJ. They don't give any, thought to that. However, if you have, like I have, moved pretty much to all LED, it might not be the worst idea in the world to say, here's why I use LED, and give some of the benefits of LED lighting. And we know what those are, in that they have long life, so they're not going to break down in the middle of your wedding. They don't get hot, so your kids are not going to burn their hands on them, and also they have a low power draw,